Okay, it's hump day, Wednesday, and this is just a really quick update on some of the trades I have going on and some of the trades I have coming off. Let's look at our zero DTE strategy. So that trade is really doing well. And the last time I did an update on the zero DTE, it was after I got fish slapped.
Hi, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
How's it going?
I had 2 losses right in a row, and I hadn't really taken a big loss up to that point, so it was sort of, let's see, where was that at? This is the Excel sheet I keep on. If we come back here, we can see they're right here. One for 840 and one for 690, and they were back to back, and then another one back to back. So loss to loss to loss. This one was a small one, but these were pretty significant, bigger than any losses I'd taken up to that point. I'd only taken losses like up to about $100 or so. So, I mean, and this wasn't surprising. I was expecting this to come, but just how everything played out to actually have them hit like that back to back, it was sort of a jolting experience. And so I made the video on that, and then I took like a week off. I just took some time off, just kind of clear my head and get to have a nice restart, like a clean slate to get started with again. And so after a week break right here, I picked back up again. Scaled down to 2 contracts, was just kind of like a little mental trick. When you have like losses like that, you can do a couple of things I've found in the past that worked for me, just to kind of like ease it and kind of get your mind right. Remember that movie? What was that? Cool Hand Luke? Get your mind right.
Because you're going to get your mind right. And I mean right.
Some of the things I've used in the past to get my mind right in these type of situations is when I have a couple of losses in a row, I can just stop completely, take a break. I can start to paper trade. Instead of real money, just go to paper trade and get a couple more wins under my belt. Helps build up my confidence. And you can also scale back, scale way down to even 1. So we were up to 6 here. Actually, we were up to 8 on that first big loss. And then we had the loss. We had to go scale down to 6. We had another loss back to back. So, you can just scale back to 1 if you want, and then just slowly start to ramp up as your confidence starts to rebuild in the strategy. So anyway, that was the last update I had made on the zero DTE. So I thought it was about time to do another one here. So today we hit, yesterday I guess we hit 8 contracts. And that's as high as we had gotten before we got fish slapped. So yesterday we came back to 8 contracts, and there was a scratch yesterday. This one here, this is a really weird trade. This trade I was in there for 90 minutes, and it got right up to my Thinkorswim platform was showing my exit target. It was like 30. I think it was like $30 to buy back at $30, and it was sitting there at 30 for like 15, 20 seconds, and I felt it should have totally gotten filled, and then it moved against me, and it came all the way back. It totally moved against me, so I just got out of that at 0 for a scratch. So I feel like I got kind of robbed on that one. But then today we put a trade on. We made $400. We scaled up to 9 and got into another trade today with 9 contracts. Made $405. Got out a little bit early because there was the Fed minutes today. I didn't want to be involved in it when the Fed minutes were released. So anyway, here's where we stand now so far. So we have $7,080 in total wins. We have $2,890 in total losses. A total, when we combine those together, $4,190. So let's just see what that return is. So this is a strategy that I started with just $420. And so that's my initial capital. My initial investment was $420. So if we figure out the return on this, at this point we have $4,190 divided by 420. So we have a 997% return, like almost 1,000% return. And this was started on December 6th. So today is February 21. So what is that? That's about 2.5 months. So not too shabby at all. So this is starting to get to the point where the amount of money we make per win is really getting to be pretty significant. We're at the point now where every time we win, I think that we have the ability to scale up again. So we keep scaling for each win we get every single time, unless there's a loss that sets us back. But, $400, $500 a day or a winning trade is pretty significant. And it's not that far off to double that. Like $1,000 a day or $1,000 per winning trade is right around the corner. So that's this has really surprised me, this whole project with this strategy. I wasn't expecting this at all. And if you'd like to learn more about this trade, I'm going to start to put together some training on this. Just reach out to me, let me know, and I'll start to build an interest list, and we'll go from there. So that's the 0DTE. Now, the other trade I did today was I had a big boy trade on that I put on just yesterday, and that's not it. Let's see. Let's clear that out of here. So the big boy is one of my main bread and butter trades that I do with that program that I've talked about numerous times. It has that great community. So the big boy is my main bread and butter trade that I do with that community. And yesterday I try to put on one of these every week. It's like a campaign style. I put one on a week. And this particular trade, the big boy, is a trade that averages about 20 days in trade, and we reach our profit target. And when I put these on, I've never seen more than 15,000 required margin. This is a portfolio margin account, and the profit target on this is about $1,200 to $1,300. So that's like, what is that? That's about is it like an 8% return in 20 days? And actually, a lot of times shorter, a surprising amount of times. These pop into profit immediately, like within 1 to 2 to 3 days. And this is a great example of it. So yesterday I put this trade on, and then today, midday, if we look at it right now, this is after the market is closed, and you can see it's showing a $564 loss. This is the trade that I put on yesterday, the big boy trade. And I think the pricing's a little wonky right now. There was like a NVIDIA report after the bell, and everything shot up, and the market's been kind of crazy after hours. And just in general after hours, that you can't really rely on the costs, but let's just say I would expect this to be around a break-even price since I just put this trade on yesterday. In most situations, this would be a break-even, right around that. Maybe up to $100 profit, maybe down $100 in losses, somewhere in that range. That would be normal. But today, in the middle of the day, which is important, why we want to just keep our eyes on these and try to monitor them at least once a day to see, because there's something weird that happens a lot of times with this particular trade where the pricing gets a little weird, and you can get into profit super fast. And today, midday, I just checked it, and I noticed that I could get out of this trade for about a $400 profit. So anytime I have a trade where I'm expecting to make, so for example, this trade, I'm expecting to make about $1,200 in 20 days. But if I can make a quarter of that in one day, I'll just take that off the table, because that's just super fast, great return, and I can just turn around and put another one back on again, like tomorrow if I want to. So whenever I get into a situation where I can, well, of course, if I were to hit full profit target in 1, 2, or 3 days, I would take it. But even if like 50% of profit target in 1, 2, or 3 days, or in this case, 25% of the profit target was hit in just one day, I'll just go ahead and take that off the table, take that money and run. So in this case, again, I put this trade on yesterday. I'm expecting to make about $1,200 to $1,300 in 20 days. But in just one day, I was able to close this down for 410, which is about 30% of my expected target. I expect to make about $1,200 to $1,300 on these in 20 days. So 410 in one day. That's a great return, and that's a really cool thing that happens more than you would expect, more than I expected with this. I would say, in my experience, it's been about, I would say maybe 2 or 3 trades out of every 10 trades of this particular strategy, the big boy strategy, will pop into profit way faster, like within the 1, 2, or 3 days. And even at 20 days, that's a short duration for that kind of a return and for this type of a trade. Usually trades like this, in my experience, has been, they last usually like between 30 to 60, sometimes even 90 days. But this particular trade, this big boy strategy, is really different in that way. So that's just a real quick update on that one. I'll probably look to put another one on maybe tomorrow or the following day. And then the last thing was, a week ago I put on a trade. I've only traded these strategies, this big boy strategy and the other similar bigger option income strategies on the SPX. And I've never used the futures, but I've had a lot of interactions with people lately who have been asking me about the futures and my experience with trading them. And I had none. So I decided to go ahead and put one on last week. So it's the exact same trade, just I used the ES, the futures. And that was the first time I had really traded this type of a strategy with the ES before. And that one came into profit really quick as well. Same profit target and same days in duration I was expecting. So within 20 days, I was expecting to make about $1,200 to $1,300 using on the futures. So let's take a look at that one real quick. And again, this was a trade I was able to get out earlier than I expected. And it was the first time using the ES for this type of trade. So there's a couple of things that I ran into, not really problems, but things I wasn't used to that are kind of interesting. Like the pricing is kind of weird on these. You can't put any price that you want to buy or sell these. It seems seems like it has to be like within 25 cent increments. For example, 4,500 was what I put this on for, but if I think I tried to get this for like 43.95 or something, 43.90, and it rejected it. It seemed to, I haven't confirmed this, but it seemed to want round numbers, 4,500, 45.25, 45.50, 45.75, like that. And the other thing too was that I had to make sure that I had the correct expiration for the futures, or it was quite a bit off. But anyway, let's take a look at what this trade brought it in. Here's the initial trade right here. And this was put on about a week ago. And then yesterday, 7 days later, I just checked at midday. And again, like the other one, I saw that I could get this off for a big bulk of my profit target in just 7 days. So I wound up closing this yesterday for a total profit of $650. So about a 50% of what I was expecting to make in around 20 days, I made in 7. So I just took that profit and closed down the trade. So that's the big boy trade on the futures. So that's pretty much it for this one. And if you'd like to learn more about any of these strategies, just make sure that you're subscribed to my YouTube channel below. Hit that subscribe button and also go over and join me on my website. I'll leave a link to my website in the description below. Just head on over there, join my free email newsletter. As soon as you join that, you'll get a welcome email from me, and just reply back to that welcome email and tell me which strategy you'd like to learn more about. And I'll get back to you and we'll go from there. All right, that's it for today. See you tomorrow.